This is a very short tutorial. I want to talk about how to bring an animated character from Mixamo into Unreal. So you will have some kind of similar result, like customized rigging, animated characters. You can put it into your environment. Okay, it's a very small video for a quick demo. So first, you need to go to maximo.com. You need to set up account. Then you can log in, which is all free. Then you are able to choose the characters you want to bring into your Unreal. So let's say I want to find some cartoonish character, maybe like a boy or something is relevant to your design. I think this is really good. So I find this character. There are the tons of characters available. Feel free to find the one you like. So I like this one. Then I'm going to go to animations. I will find some animation for this. So for example, I want to do like a greeting. I'll say hi. I don't know. This is the good one. You can apply. You see how this the height is really big. So this is probably not the best. So let me try waving hands. Maybe this one. I think this is actually better. Okay, so I want to bring this animated character into Unreal, right? So you just need to go ahead download. When you download, make sure you include the FBX skin, frame rate 30 frame per second, keyframe reduction. I will do a uniform. So basically, that will reduce amount of keyframes for the animation. Okay, so that's it. Download, and you get FBX file. It's a very simple process. I will save the file directly into my download folder. So I will give this name boy wave. Okay, so give a name. Then in Unreal, I'm going to create a new folder just to make it easier. You can manage. So I create a folder called Maximo. Let's just, for the sake of demo, I will just adding a new folder called Maximo 2. Okay, so I will drag it right under the content over here. So I have this Maximo 2 folder. Right now is nothing there, right? It's empty. Then I'm going to simply drag the FBX file, this is called boy wave, into the content browser. Once you do that, there's a pop-up window ask you what skeleton you want to use. Because I want to bring this as a new skeleton, so you can choose none. The only thing you want to make sure is animation. You want to check import animation. So you come in with both skin, rig, as well as animation. Then I choose import all. That's it. Right? You bring that animation into Unreal. It will generate a bunch of new files. There's a warning for smooth. You can ignore that. Close. Right? So you got a bunch of new files. If you really, I will go ahead save all. So we have everything embedded in Unreal. Okay. You can pay attention to the right bottom corner. So the Unreal is trying to recompile the shaders for this new character we bring in. So you will see the skin, you will see the rig, you will see the animation. It's all coming in together. Okay, it's getting there. Okay, cool. We got a bunch of stuff. So let me talk really quick what you have. So let's start with something really simple. This two dimension. This is a texture for color channel. Maybe this one is for the reflection glossiness channel. This is a normal map, right? You have this as a shader, as a material right here. And also you have some 3D characters. The green one represent the animation file. It's called animation sequence. The blue color represent the skeleton mesh, right? So this is basically the kind of interlinked files. So if you want to using this boy, you can just simply drag the animation into the stage, right, into the level. That's it. As you can see, it's automatically put a skeleton mesh right there. In the properties, it's automatically associate an animation to it. By default, is looping and playing, right? In the future, if you have new animations, you can click this drop down. You can swap animation to some other animation if you like. So let's go ahead and play. Let's see how this works. Right. So if I play, where am I? Oh, sorry. I should. Why I'm kind of stuck inside. Okay, let's play outside. So somehow. Okay, here's the player's starting point. Okay, so if I play. Okay, so hold on a second. I think for some reason my player's starting point, I need to move this outside the building. Okay, so it's right here. Just make sure I'm a little bit further away from the robot. So now I can play. Okay, so you see this animated cartoonish boy right here, right? So that's how you make the animation into it. In the future, you might wondering, if you bring multiple characters, if you really look into the animation property in a property channel, you can see there's use animation blueprint, but if you really look into the animation class, you don't really see the waving hands animation. The reason is the different character they came in with a different rig. The two characters they have to share the same rig, then they are able to swap animations. So here for this boy with the glasses, if I choose use animation asset, if I click drop down, right, you don't really see the animation of waving because these two they do not share the same rig, same skeleton system. In the future, if you really want to dive into, you can actually double click this blue color skeleton mesh, and you can see this is the bone structure of this boy. Okay, so he has a different bone structure from this boy. If I browse to asset, double click, they are not exactly identical. That's the reason these two rigs they can't really share the same animation, right? In the future, if you do want to bring multiple animations into, so for example, this is waving hands, but I want to do, I don't know, something else like what is this? Dance, right? This kind of dancing animation. So you want to apply this animation to the same boy skeleton. So here you can choose download, and this time you don't really have to download the skin, right? Because we already have the skin downloaded from the previous FPX. So here you can just simply download animation without a skin, and then download. I will give this guy name maybe let's give a name wave 2. So it's a different animation, and I can find another animation. For example, let's find something. I'm not sure about what is this animation. Is play the soccer game? Okay, so that could be the one I can apply. Or we can say talk, right? You can find as many animations as you want. So this could be a talking animation. Okay, so this character could persuading or something. So here I will download this again without a skin, right? And this time I will download as a talking. All right. So now if I really look into the download folder, and I can see the first boy wave is 33 megabytes. It's pretty big because it's including the skin, right? The textures, materials, rigs. But the second wave 2 and walking is pretty small because they only contain animation file, right? So it's significantly smaller. So now if I go back to my folder, mixamo 2, And here I can bring into the animation file. So let's go ahead, import. I will put the first is called wave 2, right? So that's a new one. I will click open, and this time it's automatically detect you already have a skeleton name is boy with skeleton, right? Do you want to create a new skeleton? You don't, because we can attach this animation to the old existing skeleton. So the only thing you want to input here is the animation file, right? So here, if you choose import all, it does not generate new shaders, new textures, new skeletons. It just creates a simple animation file, which is green color. So if I do this again, this time I will just simply drag the uh, the uh, the new one is called walking, right? So if I just drag, is this called walking? Yeah, I think that's the one I named. So I will just drag it in, right? It will pop up the same interface, ask you the skeleton. I will using the boy again, and just animation, import all. So now you have this walking. Right? So you have these two new animations. If I choose save all, in the future, if I want to use this animation, I can drag it in. I can drag it in, right? So this animation will be put it in. But also in the future, if I click this skeleton mesh in the animation to play, if you click drop down, you have these three options: walking, wave two, and walking. So you can basically swap between these three animations, right? So you have this freedom to choose. So that's how you bring the mixamo animation into Unreal, and then you can maximize the efficiency just by bringing the skeleton first. Then in the future, you only bring the animation file, which is much smaller than the rig and the texture file. Okay, I hope this will be very useful for you to create something cool uh, in your level. In the future, if you do want to play other more complicated interactions, for example, the boy will be trigger different actions when you get closer, right? You can do the different animation instead of doing the default. Maybe we can talk more in another tutorial. You can trigger this with a trigger box, and the trigger box will allow the character to play different animation. Add to actually adding this tutorial about trigger animation. I think that's should be pretty easy to do. So you can have more flexibilities in your project. So think about these three characters, right? Maybe I want to do is when I get closer to the first character, it will trigger different animation. I don't know. Maybe this boy just collapse, or jump, or dance, right? Let's do something really cool. So first, I go back to mixamo. I want to find something, will be react, right, to my trigger. So how about this? Once I get closer to the boy, then the boy start to dance, right? Can I do a really cool one? I think this is pretty nice. So let's do that. Okay. So it's a dancing animation. I will download, and I will without skin, right? It's just a dancing animation without skin. Download. I will give this guy name as dancing. Okay. Good. All right, then I will bring that into the same folder here, right? So import, and I choose dancing, bring in. It already has skeleton associate. That's nice. It's pretty smart. So import. Okay, so we have dancing. I will save all. Right. Then the next thing I want to do is trigger this first boy with trigger box. Right. So you can use the same technique we did before. So here, if you type trigger box, you can bring the trigger box here. Maybe just put it really close to the boy, right? So it's just right in front of the boy. I will just make this a little bit further away. Okay. So as soon as this trigger box being triggered, the boy will start to dance. Okay. So I will go to level blueprint. Sorry, this yeah, level blueprint. This is the place we did a lot of actions before, right? So here I will right click because I'm selecting the trigger box, and here you can add an event for this trigger box. In collision, I will say as soon as I step into begin the overlapping, the boy will dance. Okay, so I will select the boy, then I go back to the level blueprint, create a reference to the boy skeleton. And here I will just say animation or play animation. You can use either of these. So here's a play animation for the skeletal mesh. Okay, it automatically convert this into its skeleton. And here you have this list of animation you can choose. Right? I will choose a name called dancing. Right, so it's triggered this animation to dancing. I will keep it as a loop. I will just simply link these two. Okay, so whenever you step into the trigger box, it will play the animation. Let's compile, save, let's play, just to test if it's working. All right, so now I'm pretty far away. So if I get closer to the boy, yeah, it triggered the dancing. The boy start to dance. Okay, pretty cool. I also maybe want to do is once I be away from the boy, right? Maybe the boy want to do some other actions. Right? So you can do this with a similar trigger box function. Is when you leave the box, another animation will be triggered. So let's try that. So here, so this is on overlapping, right? So if I select the trigger box, make sure you do that. Right, this is the last one trigger box, right here. So here, if I right click, add collision end overlapping. So this will basically play another animation. Okay, and this animation again we can choose from the list. Maybe this one is going back to the walking. Is this the name? Yeah. Right. So that's the default one. Right. Oh, actually, default one is waving. Right. Sorry, just waving. Boy waving. Right. So that's the default. Then I link these two. Right. So basically, you trigger the first animation, but once you leave, it trigger another animation. So let's compile, save, and then let's play. Right. So here I see the boy waving, but if I get closer, he start to dance. Very cool. So if I away, he going back to the waving. Right. I think the waving is not looped. That's strange. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, I have to check the looping. I forgot to do that. So try again. Get closer, it's dancing. Got away, it's waving. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you have this triggered animation based on your position, right? Overlapping with trigger box, it do something. All right, I hope this will be helpful for you to create something cool.